3:32 on a Wednesday afternoon. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk Afternoon Update. I am hanging out in the Weather Center. You've got the two gentlemen by my side. Marquise, you're doing the 4 o'clock newscast.
Yep, I'll be on in half an hour.
There you go, working hard. And then Manolfi hardly, I'm just kidding. Manolfi's in the corner, giving me the old fist. So everybody's working. And we're hanging out, you and I, chatting about what's going on in the storm activity right now. The Tower Cam network is definitely showing some of those darker skies over top. So let's do this. Let's get right over to our first morning Doppler radar and see what's doing. Plenty of significant weather advisories. As I loop the radar, I kind of see the collision of sea breezes getting going here through the metro area between that and outflow boundaries. So let's just start north and work our way south. Flagler County watching some pretty decent thunderstorms right over I-95. Definitely making for some slick roadways there. Thankfully, nothing too strong. Further to the south, watching those storms just inland of I-95 around Ormond Beach, Holly Hill, but from about Bethune-Cookman down through Daytona Beach and the shores, South Daytona, some pretty good thunderstorms, and that continues over toward DeLand and the airport there. Lots of lightning and thunder, pretty heavy soakers. Then we get out toward like Deltona, Lake Helen area, some pretty good storms there. Sanford over to Enterprise, Casadega, watching some of those storms working over toward 415, and of course the Osteen area. Further to the south around Winter Springs, watching some boundaries colliding, probably going to get that storm that's over near the toll plaza on the 417, extending over toward, say, the, what is that thing called? Black Hammock, that's what it is. Over to the Black Hammock area. So heads up there. Light rainfall back over to Longwood. Lockhart, Pine Hills, watching some good heavy rains. That continues back over toward Windermere. Interesting little radar signature there. Yeah, just some good, like maybe a down, not really a downdraft, just like a weird hook-looking echo there. It's not, but like look at that on radar. Just like over Gotha.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That's weird, isn't it?
That's our radar?
That's our radar, yeah.
What does it look like on Tampa's?
Yeah, I mean a lower resolution blob.
What about MCO?
But look at that. It's almost like pulsing up right there.
Any hail?
I'll bet you there's a little hail. If there's not yet, there will be. There will be soon. That reflectivity there on the north side is definitely pulsing up over here.
What does the velocity winds look like?
Oh, you're putting me to work. Not crazy. Not crazy. It's an interesting little cell. Yeah, around Village Green, Hiawassee up near Evans High School. Yeah, caught my eye. Nice little inflow notch there, right near the turnpike. So some heavy stuff there down toward Pine Castle and Meadow Woods down near the airport, Hunters Creek. Watching some pretty good thunderstorm action there. Off to the east, let's see what's doing. Bithlow, Wedgefield. Oh, yeah, good storms over to Titusville and Mims. Nice stormy action here for sure. Continuing to the Southport St. John, nothing crazy. And then widening the perspective out, just got something. Flood warning, Brevard County. I'm working there. I'm working my way there. Working my way back to you, babe. All right, so around Titusville, obviously some very heavy rainfall there. That note just in from the National Weather Service, we've got this flood warning in effect. That goes until 5:30 in Brevard County. Very heavy rainfall there for sure. When we look, and Marquise, you were just looking at this as a matter of fact. You had said on one of the weather stations that you were looking at that not Doppler radar, but actual rainfall number, you saw something over 5 inches?
Yeah, so we had some reports of observed rainfall, 5 inches plus,
wow,
up towards the Titusville area between Mims. So I think on that it might say like 4.8.
Yeah, 4.8 on the radar. Yeah. All right. So that was one thing that he was looking at. It's like, well, yeah, I guess that's there. So that definitely justifies a flood warning. So just a heads up, Doppler radar showing that and an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain potentially still falling in that area. I mean, just look at the radar as it stands right now. It's still pouring in that area. So definitely some rainfall. I know that we've been doing a lot of radar here, but hey, at the end of the day, that's been the big thing. So I've not taken any of your questions or your comments. Hi guys, how we doing? It's an active afternoon. Hearing thunder, Joe says over in Ormond. Good stuff. Laura says nothing in Mount Dora, but you're right. There's been nothing in your area. Good gravy. I'm sorry. Gene says, please send some of that rain to the villages. We received rain for 5 minutes yesterday. Sorry about that. That's tough. I don't know. We haven't gotten rain in my house yet, but it does look like we may get some shortly. I could use some of it, frankly. I don't want to have to fill the pool. Just washed my car looking like rain is on the way to Winter Park. David, yeah. I hope it is for my pool's sake. I don't need to throw the dang hose in there again. All right. We need some rain in we need some rain there for sure.
Exactly where it is.
Nancy says, I love our new dude. He did awesome over the weekend. There's your new dude right there. I'm gonna get you on Coffee Talk. I'm gonna get you on Coffee Talk. He thinks he can run, but he can't hide. We're gonna get him on there. I know where he works. That's right. I'm gonna attack you with the laptop. All right. Barbara says, Eustace, please. As long as you know I actually don't have the ability to control these sorts of things. As long as you know that, as long as we're on the same page there, then we're good. I just need to make sure. All right. So what does the forecast look like for the rest of the afternoon and the evening, right? So here's a look at our forecast over the next few hours time. We are tracking the storms obviously right now. Next few hours, those storm chances do gradually drop off, and by midnight or so, it looks like we'll be done. The one thing that the model guidance has kind of shown is that this evening, more than likely, we're going to be looking at storms lingering. That's kind of been the trend that at least I've also noticed this evening, kind of late stuff. So, all right, we look, and if it can move out in our western areas, our friends that live out there certainly would benefit. I mean, right? As long as it's not too strong. Now, let's take a look at Futurecast, get an idea of what the model is saying, okay? So there's 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, showing plenty of storms over the metro area, 6 o'clock. And then 7, 8, 9 o'clock, start watching our western areas. 9 o'clock, my friends, Sumter County, Marion County. Look at that, 10, 11 o'clock. Could we get a sprinkle of rain in our western areas? You're begging for it. You deserve it. Hopefully we can get you there. Do want to make sure you know, though, that for the day today, we are looking at a level 1 risk for strong to severe storms. Thus far, we've not had a severe thunderstorm warning. We have had a few flood advisories and now a flood warning. So flooding is definitely a concern because of that very heavy rainfall. When we break down the individual threats, you notice damaging wind is the concern. Hail, the atmosphere is not really there for that. And tornadoes, the atmosphere is not really there for that. But we're watching this just to see how it plays out. Of course, if there's one thing that I hope you have learned at this point, we're going to teach you if you haven't figured this one out. Florida's going to Florida.
Yeah, it's doing that right now.
It's doing that right now, yeah.
So they're checking for any flooding or any situations in that area this 5 inches.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. Have they heard from anything from Heidler or anybody?
Not yet.
All right.
Does this automatically update?
No, those products on the left are all manual. Yeah.
Should we change this to marginal?
Yeah, I would probably do that. Yeah.
Rotate, put hail third and put flood.
Yeah. Put hail down and put that, just switch hail and flooding so that just change the text, right? So yeah, that's kind of where we're at, friends. Any questions? Otherwise, should we look at some tropical models? I know y'all are loving that. Not. All right, let's see here. Do you know when this huge ridge of high pressure finally starts to break down? Yesterday. Yeah, have you noticed that we've been getting more and more rains over top of us? Yeah, it's doing its thing. All right, to the tropics. There are 3 areas that we're watching. All right. All of them with the chance of forming. First off, in the Gulf of Mexico, that's the newest area the Hurricane Center has started monitoring. Over the next 7 days, a 20% chance. I think that, frankly, I'm kind of curious about the Caribbean or even the Bahamas as an area too. Like this whole area, the models are trying to bubble things up, but they don't really know for sure where it's going to happen. So the Hurricane Center's picked the Gulf, and there's definitely some support for that. Elsewhere, open Atlantic, a couple of Cabo Verde main development region systems rolled off of Africa. The front one has a 50% likelihood of forming in the next 7 days. The back one, a 40% likelihood. But either way, no matter how you slice it, the tropics are heating up, right? Right? All right, so let's do this. Let's take a look at the raw models together. Let's see what's doing. All right, this is the GFS model. All right, the raw GFS. This is stuff we're looking at behind the scenes. And let's just watch this stuff together, okay? Let me go to the basin view. Wrong one. There we go. All right, so this is the 12Z model. I'll bring it full screen for you. There they are in the open waters of the Atlantic, both waves, according to the GFS, developing. And then you end up like developing a little CAG there in the Gulf of Mexico. That's the 23rd, like a little piece of something working over toward Texas. Doesn't look like anything strong, but like a little piece of energy. Then there's another CAG that kind of breaks off right there, works into the Gulf and moves into Texas as something. And then another piece of energy over toward like Mexico. So the GFS is back to doing GFS things, just developing a bunch of random stuff. Let's switch over to the GFS ensembles. And we'll look in there and see. And you've got ensemble support for that second wave. Then we start to see some ensemble support for that front wave, maybe. And then we're watching that CAG there in the right there. You see that in the Caribbean, kind of working up, and then at this point in time, you just got a bunch of stuff around. I mean, it gets really kind of confusing. That's why I think like the Hurricane Center highlighted the Gulf, but to me, I think like Caribbean and then the waters even east of Florida. So, the ensembles are definitely showing stuff. In terms of exactly what it is, we'll have to, continue to watch and wait. But I do think that next week, probably going to have some interesting tropical stuff, a little more like at home than anything else there. Carrie's asking about the trajectory of the tropics. I just think next week we're probably looking at something interesting, around the United States. Outside of that, just too early. But I know that that's one of those things that Manifoldi's going to be working on during his shows.
Oh, yeah.
Nancy says, Wesh, no hype. Yeah, we're not hyping. If you missed it, take a look at that video I uploaded. That girl's talking about a Category 6 destroying Florida. And it's like, whoa. Let's slow it down a little bit, okay? Okay, all right. Yes, I saw that Aldi bought Winn-Dixie. I'm excited about it. I'm excited. All right. That's all I got. Let me walk over to Manifoldi and see. Let's get the Chiefs report here.
Mr. Burst, need anything today?
No, thank you, buddy. That's my buddy, Roberto. All right, Chief. What are you working on, Bubba?
Well, first of all, look at these highs for today. The 80s in the Villages in Wildwood.
Yep.
Still 95, 97 Orlando, Sanford. That's over. That's step one. Step two is back to the radar. As you've been saying, it's active. It's going to stay active, especially from I-4 to I-95. And we had to make a tweak to the evening forecast to keep the rain going a little bit longer.
Yep.
I definitely agree with you on that.
The Futurecast model started hinting at that earlier today.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yep. No, it's spot on. Then, as you mentioned, these two features here, it's interesting. The European definitely wants to develop this guy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
This one falls out.
Yep.
But there's a trough of low pressure that I'm going to show coming up at 5 and 6 that we think is going to steer this one away. And then, you got this little piece that comes across the Bahamas, and then it shoots west. How much does it develop? What's the wind shear like? I don't think there's going to be a lot of wind shear. I think it's got a chance to do something.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not worried about us.
Right. I agree with you.
But I think we'll get some additional rainfall on it.
I think that's what we end up with is rain, and good gravy. We need it. I actually just saved the year-to-date rainfall numbers, and we're like 5 inches behind where we should be. Yeah. I did the morning version because we climatized.
Yeah.
But either way, we're like 5-6 inches behind in spots.
But I want to show you one thing real quick before you jump out. I know that laptop's probably getting a little heavy in your hand there, but it's interesting.
Who are you talking to? I'm not 90 like you are, Chief. He's like schmuck.
All right, so there's the wave right there.
Yep.
And you got the trough coming on in, so there's a lot of shear, but then it gets away from that trough.
And there you go, yeah.
And there it goes. And then the GFS has got a bunch of features there. Yesterday it was gravitating to something coming
like
across
the CAG there. Yeah.
It's trying to figure out the monsoonal trough there. And
look at that rich, oh my God, that's like a flood machine.
So you got another trough that's building in with high pressure, so it wants to fling it back to the west. But if that gets too strong, that's out the window.
Well, and trough, okay, so one thing that Tony's also been mentioning, write him up for calling you 90. Tony will take disciplinary action. One thing that we're also noticing, these troughs, early fronts, could we be looking at like an early fall?
I've been saying that. You get into an El Nino pattern and you look at history, you have hot summers and you have early falls. Not necessarily cold winters.
Right.
But they, fingers crossed on that.
Oh my God, I'm over it. All right. That's it, people. Coffee Talk. Tony resisting the urge to call Eric a blank hole. When you've known somebody, I mean, like at this point, I've known you basically half my life.
Yeah.
And he was an old man when I met him. Okay, be sure to tip your waitresses. Be good, y'all. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. We'll do. Love you, buddy.
Be the sunshine.
Be the sunshine as I'm sitting here beating Tony up. Have a great evening. I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Take care. Bye.